Mr. Speaker, I now yield to a great new member, Representative Paul Hodes, the gentleman from New Hampshire, 5 minutes.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come to the floor today to voice support for our troops without reservation and to oppose the administration's proposed escalation in Iraq. We are at a turning point in American history. This Congress will shortly vote on a bold, clear resolution repudiating the administration's failed policy in Iraq, a fiasco which has weakened our security, threatened our military readiness, cost thousands of lives, and wasted billions of dollars. I was elected to Congress from the great state of New Hampshire, promising a return of congressional accountability and oversight. For the past 6 years, while Congress was under Republican control, only 12 hearings were held on the Iraq War. But in the past 6 weeks, this Congress has held 52 hearings. The evidence is clear that the American people in Congress were misled into the war in Iraq. No weapons of mass destruction, no links between Saddam Hussein and al-Qaeda, no imminent threat to our national security. Our resources, effort, and attention were recklessly diverted from the war in Afghanistan, which I supported, and which continues to require our vigilance and commitment. This administration has now lost its credibility with the American people and with the world. To succeed in the Middle East, we must regain our moral compass and embrace a new direction in Iraq. The administration's stubborn arrogance and incompetence have magnified the chaos in Iraq. Our brave troops have done everything asked of them, but the administration's failures in planning post-conflict reconstruction and its shocking incompetence in management have opened the Pandora's box of sectarian violence and civil war. Escalation has been tried before, and it has failed before. The administration claims this escalation is different. The administration says there are benchmarks for the Iraqis, but what I have concluded from our hearings and our briefings is that no firm benchmarks for the Iraqis have been set. Clearly, the administration intends to escalate whether or not the Iraqis step up, and today it's reported that they plan to send our troops off to Iraq without up-armored Humvees. This is deja vu all over again. A lack of planning combined with a lack of candor. Relying on a military force alone as a strategy continues the administration's one-legged stool approach to foreign policy. Absent an Iraqi government committed to forging a political solution to the country's woes, and absent the infrastructure for jobs and reconstruction program, the one-legged stool cannot stand. We've already lost billions in U.S. and Iraqi dollars to fraud, waste, and abuse. Baghdad is a city of some 7 million people. In a city that size, an injection of 20,000 troops is too little, too late. The administration talks of victory in Iraq. The word is meant to stir our patriotic fervor, but in this matter, it has, unfortunately, a sad and hollow ring. As a result of the administration's ineptitude, we're left making the best out of a bad situation. We owe it to our troops, the American people, and the Iraqis to act wisely and strategically. The administration talks tough. We must be tough, smart, and fearless. That means a new direction in Iraq. Our first order should be to address the missing second leg of the stool, replace the military surge with a diplomatic surge, convene a high-level team of special envoys, send them to the region, and send them there until the job is done. The third leg of the stool is economic. We need a real economic reconstruction program, but only on strict conditions that the Iraqi government step up to quell the violence and engage in reconciliation and oil revenue sharing. It is past time to remove our troops from the middle of this civil war, redeploy them strategically in the region to give pause to our foes, and send the troops we need to Afghanistan, where they can support the government and deal with the resurgent Taliban. Dealing with Iran is, of course, challenging, but harsh rhetoric and saber-rattling are counterproductive in the complex, destabilized Middle East. The true test of leadership is facing reality and having the good judgment and wisdom to adapt to the reality. By passing this resolution, we are sending the administration an unambiguous message. No more blank checks. We have had enough. It is time to face the reality in Iraq and develop a responsible, and comprehensive strategy to protect American security in the region. Much has been asked of this country in the past, and the future will inevitably require sacrifice, but it does not require sending 20,000 more American troops to Iraq. It does not require an escalation of this war. I urge my colleagues to support the resolution, and I oppose the administration's escalation of the war in Iraq.